Virgo Collective, I wanted to drop in with you today. I was getting some messages coming in for all of you. Any of you who have strong Virgo placements in your chart, Virgo Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus, or North Node, or even if you just have the house of Virgo really loaded with a lot of placements, so you still have that very strong Virgo influence coming in. This may resonate with you. I feel like Virgo collective energy is kind of front and center right now because your ruler Mercury is in retrograde. And it's really interesting because while Mercury is retrograde right now, right, we also have Pluto retrograde. And so that involves us doing a lot of what Jung called making the unconscious conscious. So it doesn't rule over our life and then we call it fate, right? But I really feel this energy around the Virgo collective, like you're lightening up, you know? And it's not that you don't currently have challenges you're dealing with. I think that in a very real way, you're looking at some pruning that needs to be done in your life. You're recognizing where, you've done your time. There is no more investing in the situation. It's not really going to match up to the initial vision you had, and the direction it's heading in isn't something that really resonates with where you're going and the shoes you're stepping into now. And so even though you recognize that there are some deaths, there's some things to release, there's not a sense of heaviness around it. It's more like you're tapping into the way it lightens you up, lightens your load, makes it easier for you to move forward towards what you really desire. And I really see this influence kind of coming in across the board for you. It's not just in terms of relationships, it's not all about love and romance. It's also in your social circles, and it's the kind of work you're doing, and just sort of like your day-to-day habits, your day-to-day flow. I feel like you've really been working hard for a while. You've been investing a lot of your energy into building a future for yourself. And certainly a lot of that has revolved around financial security, just getting all your ducks in a row. But I really feel there's this desire for you to kind of experience more of the lighter side of life, more of the playful, fun side of life. And I feel this energy coming in for you where it's like you're just wanting to get out of the house a bit, and actually you're wanting to take yourself out on some dates, I think you're starting to appreciate your own company more. And you're also starting to recognize that some of these connections that you've had, you're not really feeling fulfilled in the connection. It's not really a reciprocal flow. You're kind of always the one that's doing the investment in the relationship. You're always the one who's, reaching out first, or, inviting them to go somewhere, or, the one who's always taking the lead. And there's this sense that you're like, what? I'm kind of okay just sort of doing my own thing. And those who really want to connect with me, they'll reach out to me, and I think that that's a healthy attitude, to respect the ebbs and flows, even in your social life, and understand that, it's no reflection on you. A lot of times people are just really in their own shit, right? Everybody's kind of going through their stuff right now. We got a lot of review energy in play, all right? We got Pluto retrograde, which is all about dealing with our shadow, dealing with traumas from the past, dealing with the wounds that still remain to be healed. So a lot of people are going over old ground in this regard. Then you have Mercury retrograde, which can, screw up communications. It can cause things to go a bit awry. There can be some misconnections along the way. And then we're also sandwiched right smack dab in the middle of eclipse season, okay? So when we're in eclipse season, there's a lot that's in the dark that we can't see outwardly on the surface. And we kind of have to feel our way through, right? But I feel like you spent so much time in the dark, Virgo collective, that you're sort of like, yeah, I know it's there, and I'm cool with it, It's like, it is what it is. And I'm ready to just enjoy life again, you know? I don't want to be in middle of all this emotional processing all the time. And I'll tell you, that's actually really helpful. That's when you actually start to go beyond your wound and you come into the present, because that's where the enjoyment is. It's in the present moment. And it may sound cheesy, but you know, the present is the gift, right? It's all about what's going on right now, because you never know how long you have on this earth. And if you're always sitting there looking back at what was, or what hurt you, all this baggage, you know, you're still carrying around, how do you ever expect to really just appreciate and enjoy your life, you know? If you're kind of always locked in this pain space, where you're really moving through those old hurts and just recycling the experience again and again and again. And sometimes because you just didn't make peace with it, you just didn't let go, recycling it in new connections, in new situations, right? I feel like you've really gotten to the point where you're finally getting the memo that it's best just to let it be and just kind of enter the flow of your life and just trust that what's meant for you is going to be aligned with you, that you don't need to work so hard to make it happen. It flows naturally. It flows effortlessly. I just had the image of like a waterfall, you know, in my mind's eye, and just how graceful and how effortlessly the water gives over, you know, to that fall. It doesn't try to fight. It doesn't try to cling to the ledge, right? It just free flows, you know? And it's just this beautiful, graceful movement of energy. And I feel like you're sort of stepping into that flow in your life. And I actually think it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for you, Virgo Collective. Really tap into this spirit, you know? Get outside. Take yourself on some dates. What do you want to do? Fuck what anybody else wants to do. What do you want to do? You need some fun. You know, you just need to go and have some fun. And, you know, if you do want to spend some time with people, spend time with people who lift you up, you know, who make you laugh, who put you in touch with that lighter, brighter side of life. Not people who are going to be sitting around complaining or gossiping or engaging in kind of any of this lower vibe energy. I feel like you really need this time to sort of separate yourself from these kind of influences so you can really realize how much of the stress you've been feeling, it's not from you at all. It's from people around you, okay? So it's really about you getting reconnected with your own energy. And I believe it's just through enjoying yourself, you know? Having some pleasurable experiences, going out and just having fun, enjoying what the world has to offer, and you know, not worrying about what anybody else thinks of it, or if anybody else wants to go with you, or anything like that, you know. Let the party poopers, you know, sit and stew, you know. You go out, do your thing. And the beautiful thing is, the more that you connect with the energy that you're really wanting to call into your life, and you just go out and bring those things in for yourself, the more you find that your opportunities are going to start coming in, and they're going to align you with everything that you have been looking for in other people, you know. But you've been looking in the wrong place, you know. This is really what I'm getting. You've been looking in the wrong place, you know. Some people can't match where you're at on your path. You know, we all have our own path to walk. People are at different places on their path, different points in their transformational journey. And, you know, none of it is bad. You know, there's no judgment around any of it. But it's sometimes it's a case where, you know, somebody comes into our life for a bit and we're meant to share an experience that gives us certain lessons, certain medicine that we can take forward with us. But then there comes a point where maybe they need to go off on their own, and we go our own way, and you know, explore our own paths. And it's okay if, you know, those roads diverge. You know, I think you're really meant to kind of like go on the path least traveled. You know, do something different, something you haven't done before. I think there's been sort of like this monotony. You know, sort of just doing the same thing every day. I really feel like there's been this like drudgery energy around you. And so I think it's very important that you shake that up, shake it up and go out and have yourself a time, have yourself some fun. I just got that some of you may be getting a job to make a little extra money, and that you might get into being a mixologist, doing some bartending, just because it can kind of put you out in that social atmosphere, get you some extra dough, and you can also be around, some live music, meet people, have some fun. Have some fun. It's not that you really need the job necessarily, but it's sort of like you're just kind of wanting to put yourself out there in the flow of life and explore something different. So that's coming in for some of you. That's obviously not going to be a message for everybody out there, right? But there are some of you that are exploring this, and you might be going through bartending school and, getting ready to dive into that. And some of you may also be musicians. And so you've thought about this, like, oh, this could be a good way for me to, kind of get in certain clubs, and make connections with people, sort of network and earn money while I'm doing it, So I think a lot of you Virgos are really smart, you know how to sort of work things to your advantage, where it's like you can have a good time, but you also like get your needs met too, at the same time. And you always have a focus, for how you're directing your energy. So I see that being a very positive avenue to explore. If that's something you've been considering, you should definitely go for it. But in general, I think that there's been a little bit of a piece for you all where you've been stressed out that some communication hasn't been coming through. I think that there's some things that you've intuited for a while now, and you've really wanted to hear the truth in certain situations. You've wanted people to come clean. Maybe you've wanted to come clean. There's things that you have on your heart that you've wanted to express, but you haven't really felt out the right way to go about that. And I think there is a little bit of sort of this feeling of disappointment, or feeling a little blocked, because it's almost like you're waiting on a certain piece of communication before you can move forward with the rest of your plans. All right. This may be in relation to work. There may be something you're waiting to come through. It might be, an authorization to go through, or for certain paperwork to come in, for a certain meeting or a contract to be signed. Maybe it's been put off a little bit, and that's kind of like stressed you out, and you're sort of wondering where things are at. For some of you, this is in the realm of a personal relationship, somebody that things have been a little bit tense with, and you're not quite so sure where things are at in the relationship right now, and you're sort of waiting for everything to come out into the open. I will say that I do feel that what you've picked up intuitively is probably on the money, and trust your gut. I also would say that the lack of communication that you're experiencing is partially for two separate reasons I'm getting here. Number one, sometimes it's not your business, and this has to come in. It's not necessary for you to know everything that's going on in a personal situation that you're actually not involved in, okay? And you have to understand the way that can actually push people away and cause them to feel a little bit guarded around you if they feel like you're kind of butting your nose in where it doesn't belong. So that's the first thing I would say is make sure it's your business, Maybe if you're wanting to know what the 411 is, and you're trying to get, that's an old school term, okay? Probably only like Generation Xers are going to know what the fuck I was talking about when I said that, okay? But maybe I am speaking to more the Generation X set right now, all right? I'm a Generation Xer myself. But for those of you who aren't Generation Xers, the 411 is like, what's the info? Like, what's the scoop? What's the tea? Spill the tea. So, just think of, the saying, curiosity killed the cat, okay? I'm really getting this, that, if you go barking up the wrong tree trying to get information about a matter that really has nothing to do with you, you might find yourself regretting that. You might get roped into some shit that is going to be nothing but a big fucking headache for you. So I really would say, live and let live. If somebody is kind of like pulling their energy back from you, if you feel like, the communication's kind of like come to a full stop, maybe just create the possibility in your mind that it actually isn't about you and that this person may be going through something intense that they're trying to sort through on their own right now, so try not to personalize things so much. It's not always about you, all right? The other thing that is coming in is that some of this truth that you want to come through about suspicions you have, ways you feel that maybe people have done you dirty, or they're being dishonest with you, or they're manipulating you in some way by withholding information. I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't see the people that you're dealing with ever being honest with you. I don't see that that's going to happen. And I feel like this is like your one little stuck point. It's the one thing that's keeping you held back in your life. It's like the one bag, man, that you like need to put down. And I think you just need to accept that you got to trust your gut, right? And so at the end of the day, it is a lesson in trust. Like, how is it feeling to you? You've read the situation, you've read this person, you've read the room. How is it feeling to you? Does it feel right? Do you feel like this is a situation you can trust? If your gut's telling you no, you got to respect that. So at the end of the day, it all comes back to you. This is a lesson in you trusting yourself, Virgos, okay? You got to trust yourself, Don't wait around, to just have the truth you already know in your bones confirmed, because that's really going to hold you up. It's going to waste a lot of your time, and it's going to keep you stuck. And it's really time for you to move forward and step into this like lighter, brighter, happier time in your life where you're just going out and enjoying yourself and having a good time. I really feel like you're on the upswing now. You're coming out of what's been a challenging period. There may have been some times that you felt depressed. There may have been some times when you felt really conflicted. There also may have been there's a communication thing, all right? It's Mercury retrograde, and I'm reading for Virgo, and it's your ruling planet, okay? There may have been some times, that you even found it hard to like articulate what you needed or what you needed to communicate, to other people. But I think really the lesson here is that it's not about anybody else. Even if you're in a relationship, even if you're in a dynamic that involves other people, right now you gotta kind of pull your energy back to you and spend some time alone, but not sitting and brooding in your room. I want you to go and, like I said, have some play dates. Take yourself out on a date. Take yourself out on the town. Go out and do something fun. Do what you want to do. And just go off alone, and feel what it feels like to just be in your energy. And there's this piece that when you let go of like needing to know, I just have to figure it out. The minute that you let go and you just start to relax and let yourself enjoy life again and have a good time, that's when it's all going to dial in for you. That's when you're going to know what's true and what to do. That's when the places that you need to go are going to open up for you. It'll be like clear roads straight ahead, right? That's when you're going to get that forward momentum. That's when your opportunities are going to line up for you. That's when you're going to start connecting with the right people. And where communication was blocked and it really does need to come forward and it does need to come through, that's when, you know, things will open up on that level too. So I would say don't rely on others, you know, to be in that place of satisfaction in your life. Move into self-satisfaction. I want you to like kind of grok that Nine of Cups energy, which is all about, you know, gratification, you know. What will gratify you right here, right now? What would feel good to you right here, right now? What sounds like fun right here, right now? Not someday, you know, not what it used to be, but right now in this moment. 20:33 on the clock when I said that, all right? So go out and have some fun and enjoy yourself. Enjoy this time of everything lightening up, and congratulate yourself for all the deep work you did do, because you really did process a lot, you know? You really put a lot of stuff behind you that had power over you for way too long, you know? And you found your own power, you know? I had that image like Dorothy in my head, clicking her heels, you know, clicking those ruby slippers. She had the power all along, and so do you. 21:11 on the clock when I said that. So you got spiritual help on your side. Your guides are around. Synchronicity is all around you to guide you on your next steps. But you're not going to get that message, you know, you're not going to get the memo sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself or lamenting about the past or what didn't work out the way you thought it would. It's time for you to get back outside, get into the flow of life, and have yourself a fucking time, because your future's so bright. You gotta wear shades, Virgo.